How's it going, everyone? It is Tuesday, July 30th, 2024. No picks on yesterday's video. We couldn't find anything very compelling. We'll take a look at the positions that we're in right now. We are just into JMIA, which is holding up pretty well in this SPY drop, holding that line of support right there, and ASTS, which is coming in a little bit after making a pretty nice run. So stock is pulling back here. We'll probably find some support, I think, either at the open of this, perhaps at the 8 EMA. That's what I'm expecting here. And we have some firepower to add to this position later on. So this dip could give us a nice pullback on this stock. I like these two stocks. We've got a lot of news coming out this week, so we're not going to do very much with these. We took these swing trades going into some volatility. We're going into the eye of the storm. So SPY today, if we zoom out on the D1 here, we're seeing a little bit of selling. We pulled back to the 8 EMA here. We hit quite a bit of resistance around 447, and now we are cracking through the SMA and ready to test some of these upward sloping trend lines. This is all happening before the major news coming out at the post-market today and on the FOMC tomorrow. So actually, before I zoom into the M30, on a longer term D1 basis here, still mildly bullish, right? We're still getting the pullback. We want to see what this next leg up is going to be. This has been a bit of a deeper pullback, a little bit of a longer duration pullback. But we have to see where the dust settles after this week. We could still see a nice bounce this week or even next week. So we have to be careful of that. Now, technically, again, still mildly bullish here. We are testing that 50-day SMA. We've kind of broken through it a little bit over here, tested this gap. So we are kind of breaching some technical levels. We just want to see if some confirmation of that breach. We got to close below the 50 SMA yesterday, and then we got a gap up, or sorry, on the 25th. Then we got a gap up on the 26th. So we didn't quite confirm that break. Now, on a shorter term time basis, this is looking a little bit bearish. And you can see how we had, again, a lot of tests at this 547 level, test. And then we had a bit of a compression forming over the last 2 to 3 days. We had a gap up here, gave it one more test, and then sellers were able to knock it down through. This is a tech-led decline. If we put up NVIDIA over here, you can see how this stock is testing its 200-day SMA and was able to get through the low from July 25th and unable to really rally with the market. So that is, the tech is pretty weak. Semis are kind of bringing this market down a little bit here. If we look at some of the breadth, there is a decent amount of market breadth over here. It's really just consumer cyclical and tech that's bringing these stocks down. Some other stocks are a little bit red, but we still have a lot of stocks that are quite green for the day. Financials are holding up very well. Real estate also doing not too bad. So there are pockets of strength that we can lean on in today. Now, zooming into this M5 chart. So we get a gap up. Again, we test this top of the range. And then we're just kind of moving down. We're kind of moving down, moving down, kind of drifting lower. We have this 1OP bullish cross, so it tells us to be careful. And then we get some tails, get some candles, and then we get a long red candle here. And this breaks through the prior day low, actually gets all the way almost to this low of the day here. And I think we flush out a lot of buyers. Sellers were able to really pile in over here. Now, at the conclusion of this candle, I said, all right, and I texted this in the chat too. I was like, look, got this long red candle. It's pretty bearish. Let's just wait and see what happens. Let's wait and see if we get the follow through on this candle or not. Because we wanted to make sure that we weren't in a situation, something like the 25th, where we get some selling here, and then we get a pretty big move up, and we get a pretty big reversal. So that makes it quite a tricky day to trade. Now, here's where the D1 context comes into play. This move over here was after lots of selling, lots of selling on the prior day. So we knew that the chance of a bounce was much higher. If I zoom out over here. Now, if we compare that to the D1 context over here, we had a pretty big compression for the past few days. So it wasn't like we were having a massive sell off and now we're getting some extra selling. We had some buying and selling, and buy and sells were paired off, and then we got kind of a shift in momentum on towards one side, and we were able to break through that range. So that context is important because it has us inclined to be a little bit more bearish in this situation than we were on the 25th. So after this candle, we got a nice bullish engulfing candle on higher volume. That tells us that we can expect a bounce. So we get a little bit of a bounce here, and then we're testing the SMA over here, which is just right. The line is a little bit off here. It's just around this level at 542.86, 542.87. Come here, we don't quite get to the SMA, we don't quite test the halfway point of this candle, and then we start to sell off again, and now we're making a new low. So right now, even here again, I don't feel super comfortable shorting. I like how we're getting through the SMA. The market has made a pretty nice move already, but a lot of this move hasn't been the strongest price action, right? We've had tiny little red candles here. We've got lots of wicks and tails. We get one long red candle, and then we get a little more follow through. But you see how we get a lot better price action closer to that 8 EMA versus chasing from it. So I'd want to see some relative weakness on stocks, and the SPY bounces to the 8 EMA and then starts to sell off a little bit over here. We're getting some tiny body candles, some tails under body, this high volume doji coming in. So that tells me that we might see a little bit of a bounce over here. If it starts to stall out, then I would like to see a smackdown. So bias for today, certainly -2 bearish. And let's look at a couple of picks that we can trade on or day trade on the short side. Now, there's a couple of picks that I really like on the long side. GPK, I actually called this out right over here at 1105. And this stock is just absolutely taking off. Super, super nice long here. Very nice price action. So, I mean, this has very, very strong buying from its earnings. And you can see the price action of the stock where we got the test, and then we actually broke through the prior day high and are grinding up higher. So this stock wasn't overextended. We got this reversal set up, and then we have plenty of room to go. Really like GPK. Financials I mentioned are strong. If you look at Goldman Sachs, has a nice D1 chart. And is holding a lot of the gains. It's holding near the high of the day. You can see how this stock is just kind of grinding higher here, not really affected by what the market is doing. So I like this grinding stock here. You can see it's kind of in this channel. So not the best channel, but I think you get the idea. We have this upward sloping trend line over here, and so that is where we can expect to find some support on the stock until it is broken. This just tells us the nature of this trend. Nice chart over here. We may be hitting some resistance from this high around 509.48. So what I'm going to do is set an alert at this high, and we can see if we'll get through it. NVCR, nice one over here, pulling back a little bit, but very nice move post earnings. See how it's getting a little bit of a 2 steps up, a 3 steps up, 2 steps back sort of type of price action. So I want to see if this stock can actually get through this level here, maybe close above that 8 EMA. Then I'm interested in getting in on that move. NDAC over here pulling back. Let's look at some things on the downside. So we have Crowd. Crowd has made a very nice move lower. Yep, so nice move lower, just kind of grinding lower. It's hard to find relatively weak stocks in this sort of climate because the market has already made a very strong down move. So I like Crowd. I would like to get in on a little bit of a bounce to the 8 EMA here. I'd like to see a little bit of relative weakness come into the stock. So I'm going to set a relative weak alert right here. So when I get that alert, then I can get in on that stock. NVAX also very nice. Yeah, this stock has made a really nice breakdown here, testing this low from the 5th. So we like to get through that level here that could provide a little bit of support. You can see that coming into play right here. Very high volume bearish candle. So picks for today. First pick, GPK. That's going to be my long pick of the day on a bounce. I really like the move that I'm seeing in this stock over here. It's holding up really well relative to the market. So I think this could serve pretty well on any sort of bounce. And on the short side, I am going to go with Crowd on a pullback to the 8 EMA. So those are my two picks of the day. They're both going to be day trades. Let's add them to our YouTube picks. All right, and that is it for today. So trade light, we have just one or two good trades on a day like this is what you need. There's already been a pretty big move, so we're gonna wait and see what happens here. Wait for a little bit of a bounce that fails. And yeah, and that's gonna be it for today. Thanks everyone for watching. Let's see what happens with all the news coming out tomorrow.